Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John and I have a new album review by the band Green Jello. The name of the album is called Garbage Band Kids. But before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. So the band Green Jello, they've been around a while. They formed in 1981. Now the original spelling was with the letter O, but because of legal pressure from Kraft Foods, they had to change it. And they changed the O to a Y, but the pronunciation is still the same. It's still Green Jello. I think like the Y with the two dots over it is pronounced like an O, or I don't know, that's just how they're doing it. But this is just a comedy, punk rock, heavy metal band. They use a lot of like self-depreciating humor, and that is still apparent on this new album. The band has been around a while. It had two members from Tool, actually. I just found this out. Danny Carey and Maynard James Keenan. So they were in the band for a while in the early 90s. Actually, I thought that was cool. And so in the late 80s, they released their debut album in 1989 called Triple Live Mother Goose at Budokan. And that's just basically their debut album. They had like a large lineup of musicians. It was like the start of their career. And it was just basically the same thing they're doing. Like it was punk rock, heavy metal, just comedy. And like they did parodies. But it wasn't until 1993 they released a music video for Three Little Pigs, which was a claymation music video, which was actually directed by the same guy who directed Tool's Sober video. I remember the premiere because I was in college at the time, and I was at a party, and it premiered on Headbangers Ball, I believe. It was a Saturday night. Now I'm watching it with my friends, and just we're all in like this like different state of mind at the time, and it was just so crazy watching this claymation video of like Three Little Pigs with the characters, and had Rambo and the wolf, and it was just such a cool song. I went out and bought the album, which was actually not even an album. It was a VHS tape called Serial Killer. And they had a music video for each song on the tape. I think they released it on a DVD later. And they did release, they called it like the Serial Killer soundtrack shortly after, so they released it on CD as well. Afterwards, a year later, I lost touch with the band, but they released another album in 1994 called 333. This one I never really listened to, but I did read about it a little bit. And supposedly this one like focuses more on like music and like less on the comedy. So they played a little more like thrash metal, a little more like grunge on this one, and they played in different like styles. So after that, we didn't really hear much from the band for a while. And in 2009, they released another album called Music to Insult Your Intelligence By. And they also released most of their previous albums on CD and DVD at that point. And now it's 2021 and they have a new album called Garbage Band Kids. So it's their first album in 12 years. And it's a really fun album. I gave it like 2 listens already. It's an hour long, has 17 songs, has a few cameos. It has Weird Al Yankovic and Wink Martindale. And they just like pretty much like leave these funny voicemails. They have a punk rock version of the SpongeBob Squarepants song called Silence of the Squarepants. They released their first single called Punk Rock Pope. That was out like I think a few months ago. That was pretty cool. It's another punk rock song. They have another song called Fuck It, which is just like basically them filled just saying like curse words, which is just a funny song. And the rest of the album is just the same type of songs. It's just funny, like punk rock and things like that. They have a remake of Three Little Pigs, and pretty much the same song it was in, like on the original release, but they do have a kind of a funny ending to it. They end the album with a song called Holyman Back, which is just like spoken word. It's almost like a relaxation tape, and it's just, I don't know why it's there, but it's just, you know, that's kind of what they do. And like I said, it's a fun punk rock record. Has a lot of like that like self-depreciating humor, a lot of funny lyrics, and has like funny song titles like Beat My Meat. That's like one of the song titles. Just a fun album to enjoy. If you like punk rock, you like it. If you like you know, hard rock or thrash, it's kind of like a crossover thrash at times, but it's a fun album. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say. I enjoyed it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 just for the enjoyability factor. Just like I said, if you like punk, you'll like it. And that's about it. I'm going to keep this review fairly shorter than most of my other reviews because I guess that's all I have to say about it. So, coming up tomorrow, there's a new Max Cavalera project called Go Ahead and Die. I gave that another listen today. It's pretty decent album, so I'll talk about that one tomorrow. So please check out my in-video links, and I'll see you in the next one.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engine on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade, and the papers want to know who's sure you will. Now it's time to leave the capsule to be dead. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in.